Hey, how's it going, everyone? Just back in with another video. This one is kind of indirectly related to golf, but it's about like health, And so I was golfing like a few days ago, and I felt like a knot under my left rib cage, and so I just assumed like I just kind of pulled something or golf swing related or whatever, and so it wasn't like super painful, but I could feel it, and then it kind of persisted, and then it got a little bit worse after I got home and I had dinner. And so I went online, and I went to my quote unquote doctor, Google. And so I was trying to figure out, what it could be. And so this is me not at the freaking out stage at this point, because I just still think that it's possibly just like a muscle that's like spasming or something underneath my left lower rib cage. And so one thing that it could be a symptom for a kidney stone. And so that's going to be the focus of this video, ultimately, is the kidneys. And that's horrified me, because then I started looking into like, well, what happens, what is a kidney stone and what happens and all that. And it's like nothing short of horrifying, basically. And so apparently 10% of the US population deals with kidney stones at some point, in their life. And so this video is for people who don't want to be in that statistic or have gone through it and then just want to learn about what I'm doing, and so, which hopefully they already know with the amount of information that's online, that there are things that you can do, to prevent them, which is going to be the focus of this video, or to deal with them, at home. And so that was scary. And so I was like, well, that's not what I want, And so again, with the medical situation going on in the world, hospitals are backlogged and then not as welcoming to these kind of things. And then, I currently don't have medical coverage and I don't plan on it. So we need that, we need some option on our own. So, I just got in full mode, like, well, how do I deal with this? I just, in my mind, I was like coming to the realization that I may have a kidney stone. So what I have found out just over the last few days of like observation, I believe what I have is acute gastritis, which is like an inflammation of the stomach. And it's kind of just inflamed, and then it's pressing up against, ever so slightly, but enough certainly to feel it. And then after I eat, I can feel it a little bit more, that tightness. So it appears to be digestive related, the spasms. What it feels like to me are spasms. So there's a good chance at this point that it's acute gastritis or gastritis. If it's chronic, it's going to stay. So, but stomach related ultimately. But again, the point of this video is actually I'm going to treat myself with the regimen that I'm going to describe as if I have gastritis and kidney stones. And so then just what should I do, to, make those better. And so first, just the way I am, I'm going to start with the most painful one and give that one priority. And so I'm going to focus on the stones, even though I don't at this point feel like I have the symptoms for it. And apparently the symptoms are, two of the major ones are incredible back pain, because your body and your muscles are all spasming because they see that foreign invader, and so, and it's loose, outside of the kidney now. And so they contract and just get tight. And so that's one form of pain. And then the other form of pain, which is also excruciating, is you now have crystal going through your ureter. And the crystal can be of varying sizes. And so that's incredibly painful. It's like literally people describe like a knife, flowing through your body. And so that pain has been compared to childbirth. That's how painful it can be, depending on how big it is and how rough the crystals are, the coarseness of it. And so, or blood in the urine as well is one. And so that's what we want to try to avoid, basically, with what I'm going to talk about in this video. So, first thing that I found online that looks like it works just based on the reviews, and I've started doing this only a day ago, is this stone breaker. Okay. By Pharm. It's 1 fluid ounce. The name of it is the actual like chemical compounds in it is called Chanca Piedra. And so it's natural, like it's like an herb. And, it's, a lot of people have talked about it online as having the potential ability to prevent these stones from being formed, first and foremost, and then minimizing their size, and then breaking them down to a point where hopefully your body can pass them with less pain. You're going to feel it either way. It's just the way it is. And so we don't want to feel it that much. And so I even saw one YouTube video where there was a scientific study actually done, using this herb on a group of people, and then there was, known effectiveness. So again, not all these things will work for every person or work in the same way, but it's good to have, in my arsenal for prevention. So what I do, so now I have two things to sort of mentally I'm dealing with that I'm going to pretend like I have every day, even if I don't have the symptoms, is gastritis and a kidney stone. So for gastritis, first thing I'm going to do in the morning is I drink this Good Belly probiotics. Nice thing about it, they taste pretty good, and then it gives you like the coating that I need in my stomach for the inflammation, what I suspect is inflammation at this point. And it kind of like fills you up. And so that and a banana is the first thing that's going to go into my body every day. And so that's sort of there to like brace, the stomach and give it some sense of coating. And next, I now focus on the kidneys. And so I'll do this stone breaker. So their recommendation here is one full squeeze of the dropper 3 times a day. So I'm going to just do I'm going to ramp this up. I'm going to do half of this, dropper. And then I have something else coming in the mail that I'll explain. That will be the thing at the end of the day. But I do I don't think it matters that much. Again, I'll do follow-ups to this, just kind of giving people progress, things that I feel better or worse related to this plan. But, I'll do half of this dropper in warm water with a little bit of this apple cider vinegar, which is the thing that's just, I haven't seen anything negative about, like, it just helps everything, like if you're overweight, if you're, just kidney issues and just a detox and everything. And so it's like the kind of fixer upper kind of thing, like the cleaner upper kind of our system and all the tubes and all that. So I put some apple cider vinegar in that, and a little bit of lemon juice. So I think, this one's this Italia Gardens, Italian lemon juice. Apparently there are better types of lemon than others. Like, I think there's one of the doctors online was recommending some volcano juice, which I believe is Italian. But, this. And so the lemon juice and the apple cider vinegar, and obviously this as well, with a good amount of water throughout the day, will constantly be like, purging, and cleaning out the kidneys. And so that's incredibly important. And then it will prevent stones from being formed, which is the first thing. Like, if there's not even an environment that the stones can even form, then you don't have to worry about kidney stones, at least. So that's key. And so it's going to create the right amount of pH, basically, for that system, the kidney system. I think it's called the renal system. So that's the plan, and so start with that. And then now another major thing, which is a big issue for people who have to think about the possibility even of kidney stones, is the amount of water a person drinks every day. And so I don't, I just flat out do not drink enough water. And, that's incredibly important. So throughout the day, I have a 2-liter jug, pretty big jug of water, 2 liters, and fill it with lime juice. So I'm into diversity, just trying different things so the body doesn't get used to one thing. So you can put lemon juice in it, it's fine. Even I've saw that people have done studies with like people who drink lemonade regularly, it helps with kidney stones. But, I think lemon juice is actually technically better because it can destroy different types of these stones, not just one version of it. But the lime juice is good too. And so to me, it kind of like a catch-all. And so I put some drops of this in my jug and then just drink that throughout the day. And I have to get through that and then more, at least 2.5. So, just don't drink it all at once. Then your body will it's not able to like use it all. There's an amount, and I don't know what that amount is. It's probably different for everybody. But to me, my thinking is that it's better to like, drink it throughout the day. The body can use the amount that you drink, maybe like 5 or 6 swigs, each time. And so just do that constantly, but make sure I have to get through the whole bottle. And so all these things, this Chanca Piedra, okay, stone breaker, is crucial for the dissolving of the stones. Certainly, it's also apparently has anti-inflammatory properties. And so, and apple cider vinegar, and then the lemon juice. And so what I also put this morning, just because I want to sort of mix it up, I'm going to put those always, those 3 things. This, the apple cider vinegar, and then the lemon juice. And so sometimes I'll put a little bit of honey, and then turmeric, and then even I put a little bit of cinnamon this morning in that tea. So it's like a mixture of just random things. Okay, but I'm not drinking it for the taste at this point. So if you are, I would just go like the honey route. Like don't put like sugar or like just raw sugar or something like that. Like don't do that. So because apparently that's one of the main reasons why we have kidney stones is the fructose and then the salt. And so that's the only reason, and then the lack of water as well. But so don't do that, to make it tasty or whatever. So this stuff to me, it doesn't taste good, but it's not a big deal. The thing when it's like warm, when it's a warm tea, it sort of makes it palatable. So that's the plan. And so another thing that now to flip back to the stomach is that, I'm trying to like limit the amount of spicy food that I eat. I do eat it once in a while. So I ate fish last night and put a little bit of curry powder on it, and then it sort of did make my stomach feel a little bit weird at the end of the day. So I don't think I'm going to put the powder on it anymore, and maybe just have the fish, but marinate it with something else, possibly even like garlic and ginger or something like that. So it tastes like something and is healthy, but I don't want to like upset the gastritis more. And so I'm going to like eliminate that. I have a feeling that the curry powder itself is actually fairly healthy. Again, I can't prove that. People have probably done studies on it, but I may just use turmeric, garlic, and ginger on my fish as a form of like marinating it. So that's the one food that I'm going to try and eat more regularly is fish, because apparently that helps the kidneys with the omega-3s. And then the meal will probably be, if I don't want that, I'll get Salata. It's like a mixed salad place. And so, or something like Chipotle, which I just really like. And so probably the least healthy thing I want that to be that I eat. But that's going to be like, those kind of things are going to be what I'm going to eat for my meal. So a lot of what I'm getting will be like something real, something actually like my body can deal with, and then will help the gastritis. Another thing today is, I believe also makes sense just logically, intermittent fasting is very, very important. So I'm only going to drink fluids today. And so that's going to give my stomach a chance to catch up, which is what I believe all these things are telling us. Whenever you have a kidney stone or you have inflammation or whatever, your body's giving you a signal to like stop what you're doing. And then give it time, and then give it the right things to fix what is done incorrectly in the past, and then to operate, normally. So that's what these things are, a heads up for me, and hopefully for people out there who are in a similar situation as me. So fasting, no food, and so just all liquids today is my form of fasting. And so because I don't want to ever neglect the kidneys, there's no fasting of the kidneys. The kidneys will not function without water. It's just, they'll be like, they don't have the ability to flush anything. So that's why water will always be necessary for I guess human life, fundamentally. So certainly for the kidneys. So that's the plan. I'm going to incorporate that once a week as well, where I don't eat, for a day, but just continue with like the probiotic, which is in liquid form. And so it gives your stomach something, to feel, but, full, but, and then do all the other kidney regimen. Another thing actually that I want to mention with the probiotic, I had a banana. So the first thing that I want to eat every day, I'm going to hopefully stick to this to avoid the pain. Okay. It's not funny, but like, is this and a banana. And so that's what I want to sort of start my stomach and coat it with that. And so that's the first thing, every day I want to eat. And then it's nice because it gives you some amount of like sort of energy, from this, and then the banana. And it feels like it's kind of coating, my stomach, bracing it for this, which has to come down the hatch. Okay. It's like, it's not the best to have acidic things, but I mean, I don't want to play around, with those stones or the potential for stones. So it's gotta go down there. And so again, when you put enough water, and again, this is another reason why it's better to, whatever you're going to use, whatever amount you plan on using this, I would recommend splitting it up, throughout the day. So the body is constantly, it's just raising that level. So the body's always in sort of an attack mode, not just, oh, it was at 8 a.m. and then 2. And then it's like constantly in that sort of heightened state to fight those things. So I can't prove that scientifically, but that's sort of the concept. And so I do think one thing that our body does actually thrive on is diversity. And so it also can do well with the same thing, but as long as it's healthy. But so that's my sort of plan food wise. And another really good thing that's good for the stomach gastritis is cabbage. And so I ordered this red cabbage. It looks actually kind of purple, but I'll just snack on that. And then another thing that's just good for the body in general are bell peppers. And so I cut up raw red and green bell peppers. And so normally when I would go to the golf course, my snack would be mixed nuts or something like that, or even a chocolate bar. So I'm going to eat these bell peppers. And so that's going to be my quote unquote snack, bell peppers and cabbage. And so you may get some funny looks from people like, hey, what are you eating? You got a garden in your golf bag kind of thing. That's fine. That's going to be my quote unquote snack. And so, that's just good, just in general for the body. It doesn't have to be for the kidneys and the stomach. It's just healthy for you. And so, but the cabbage in particular apparently is really, really good for gastritis. So, and it sort of feels that way, it's kind of like leafy, and then will be good for inflammation. And so another thing that I would also recommend people incorporate daily is turmeric. And so in this concoction of this stuff and then the cider vinegar and all that, cinnamon is good, and then turmeric as well as anti-inflammatory. And so that's a win-win for the kidneys, because any amount of stone moving through your body, even if it's a small one, will cause some amount of like burning first and foremost, and then can lead to inflammation. It can actually like scar, the tissue apparently along the path. So, and turmeric is an anti-inflammatory, and apparently this also has anti-inflammatory properties as well, this Chanca Piedra. So that has to be, in it, in my body, in the teas, just whatever, just sprinkle some in. And so I have it in powder form. And so, that kind of thing. So incorporate that. So, and also another thing that's very, very important I'm going to stick to every day is have an apple. And so an apple, maybe not necessarily the best food for my gastritis, but in general, the apple a day is true, because it's very, very good for the kidneys. Just like this thing is apple cider vinegar. It's basically like what's in the apple is kind of in this bottle, but I just want to eat the actual apple itself. And so that's going to be part of, one of those snacks, on the golf course, for example, is an apple. And so, or just whatever throughout the day. So food wise, I think it's very important to have a good probiotic. So, and depending on your appetite, you may need to drink more or less to feel full. And then if you are a person who has a bigger appetite, just eat more bananas, just have 2 or something like that. No big deal. So that's going to be the start. And then, I go to this tea concoction. Then I put the lime, in the water, 2-liter jug, have 1.5 of those. And so at least every day, and to space it out, have a meal where it's like actual food, something you can like say fish, whatever, and a salad or something. So I don't want to go to like one extreme and only go vegetarian, because like that may help the kidneys, but it may not be good for the stomach, or vice versa. And so at this point, I'll just kind of take the middle road, and again, try and reach that balance point, that saddle point for the body. And then another thing that I did was I ordered another version of this stone breaker, just made from another company. Because again, I think diversity is good, because like they're getting these potentially from different, fields, supply chain. And so there could be varying qualities. And this company online says that that's why it's a bit more expensive. This one, the company's literally called Stone Relief. And so I'll put the link to this below. This one, the capsule one. This one you can get, this one's, like again, I said, Pharm System Restoration. You can get this from any grocery store. Like I got this from HEB. So this one, Stone Relief, you may have to go online. Again, you can just go to the links, and then I got this off Amazon. And so, it's different, company. And so potentially different supply chain. And so I want to have both potential working for me, so to speak. And so these are capsules. This one is $40 and you get 60 of them. And so depending on your situation with kidney stones, they'll recommend, different amount, if you're dealing with it right now, if you're dealing with a big one or a smaller one or whatever, because you can image them and find out how big they are, then you will, up the amount. And so again, I don't think these people are going to get a doctor to tell you to take these, but this is just, again, for this video, it's just more, think of it as prevention or very, very early stages of formation and release. But 60 capsules at $40. So my plan is to just have one of these every day. And so that's, and before I go to bed. So that's going to give me a diversity, in terms of the type of stone breaker that I have in my body, 2 different companies, and then, give it that sort of help throughout the day. So the water with the lime throughout the day is like constantly helping, and then you could put lemon juice, lime, you can even put apple cider vinegar. It doesn't taste as good, but as in that water jug, just so it gives it a little bit of punch throughout the day. And so that's going to be very, very important. And so you should notice many times throughout the day, like clear, urine. And so that's been, I rarely have, clear urine, except, in the last few days or during times that I'm sick. So that's the thing that, we'll be looking for, and then having it throughout the day is important. So that's the plan, and so I think that, really, I think the way that if I ideally did this kind of thing every day, I would be one of the healthiest people on the earth, probably, because like everything that is here is fundamentally what the body needs. And it's the thing that we've all gotten into is like, we've started some extent with some healthy things, but like we can always like replace them, or like, we don't have time and all that. So that's going to be the challenge, is like making sure that this stays, and then if it does, then I think it will necessarily not like eliminate medical issues, but their severity will be less. And so that's really the point of this video, is just not to like replace, medical stuff, but it just makes our dependency on them lower. And so that's the important thing. So, that's the plan. So this is just more for me to kind of have accountability, to go through my game plan, I guess, for food and fluids, is wake up and have probiotic with a banana, then have that tea concoction with Pharm Stone Breaker, maybe a full thing, maybe less. If you just in general you don't feel right, or you feel like you've not been drinking enough water, you want to do a little bit more. But then the lemon juice and the apple cider vinegar, and then mix in turmeric potentially and cinnamon, both, either one or both, and then honey if you want to just make it taste a little bit better. And so that's that. And then some point throughout the day, apple and cabbage and the bell peppers. And then so I'm going to add to these, as I find more, in that healthy slot of things. So it's not just the same few things over and over again. So I can't eat fish every day, but I can eat fish, Salata or Chipotle. I could eat that, fairly regularly, one of those 3, and mix that up, and then I'll add other things to it. But I don't want to like steer away, from this plan and then the consistency. And so our brain, ultimately will just latch on to the good feelings of not having to be horrified of kidney stones, and then, replace that feeling with the feeling of, the enjoyment of a chocolate bar or whatever people are drawn to, or alcohol or whatever. So that's the exchange that we're trying to do. I'm trying to do. So, and then, so that one, fuller meal, and then the Stone Relief, these capsules, in some form, they're going to come in capsule form, but I'll take that in some way, before I go to sleep. And so that's the plan, and the nice situation for me is that, I don't really have like a massive appetite. So whatever I've done in the past food wise, it's been unhealthy. It hasn't been extreme. I'm lucky in that regard. And so, some people have, and that's just a reality. And I get it, it's stressful, and then food, is good, tastes good at least. So, it's one of the ways, in alcohol for sure, that makes sense. And so that's where I feel like I have a good chance, and like a good starting point, at least in that sense, where I'm not at a huge deficit at this point, but I'm going to just, treat it as if like it's right around the corner, or it's going to intensify and that kind of thing. And then the nice thing I want people to think about, maybe as they do this or try this, is, our body is like, we're like a walking science experiment, and so we have the ability to treat it however we want ultimately. And so, we gotta like give it attention, and so the nice thing I would say for me over the last few days is I've learned more about the body, and so, which, unless you're like maybe a doctor, you're not like required to learn these things, but what the kidney does, and like, what it's connected to as well, how the pain, if your kidney gets backed up, for example, one of these stones block your kidneys, then the pain's going to be all over the place because there are tubes connected to it that are connected to other parts of the body. So it's going to like complain, like, hey, like what's going on here? And like, it's going to complain, and like everything else is going to feel it, like in your groin, like everywhere, your back, like I said. So it's interconnected, and it's amazing, but, we have to care for it. So hopefully that helps. This is just a heads up for golfers, first and foremost, athletes, I would say in general, people outside, and then, for long periods of time, and especially if you live in a warm weather climate like I do in Houston, it's hot, drink water, in the very least. And if you are a person who's like, water's boring, this will actually, you put this lemon in it, okay, it's not like a Gatorade or whatever, but then you don't have all that other stuff to worry about in the Gatorade that will get clogged up, if that's your only form of hydration. So put something in there, that like lime or lemon or something. And so really any form of that will be better, certainly than not drinking it. And then, that type of thing, or replacing it with something that's like not going to help your kidneys. And so that's, and then I would say people who are my age, you're even at higher risk, for sure, or approaching 40 or over 40. So that's, there's a limit, to the amount that you can tax our organs. So I may have reached that limit, but, we'll see. I think that it's kind of exciting, like, to learn about your body and then do simple things throughout the day. And then fundamentally, we eat way too much. We do. And so we don't drink enough water. And so the nice thing about water too is that it makes you feel full. And so your body does need food, of course, some type of like, substance, like solid, but certainly not as much as most people eat. And so I think one meal a day, again, that might not be for everybody because they probably have a lot more going on than I do. I just don't really do much, but except golf. But, you may need more fuel than what I need, but don't go overboard, and then the nice thing as well that I've learned about the gastritis is that whether you have gastritis or not, it's better to eat smaller meals throughout the day, because whenever you eat a heavy meal, your stomach is, whether it had spice in it or not, like it's going to tax it more. So that also proves that I should live this way whether I have gastritis symptoms or not. Break the meals up throughout the day so it's just more manageable for my stomach and gives it more time to figure out what to do with it, and hopefully what you're providing it is useful. So then that's important. So these sort of principles apply whether we're fighting a kidney stone or not. You know, plenty of fluids first and foremost. And then if the water in different parts of the world have different amounts of quality. So to me, again, I can't prove this scientifically, but I view these things, the lime juice or the lemon juice, as like a form of sanitizing it. So, you know, that's what I'll do. You know, I have like a water jug, you know, that I bring to the golf course. And so I'll put some drops of this in it. And then, you know, that'll be my hydration. And so I have to make a goal as well when I'm on the golf course to get through that container every maybe 3 holes or 4 holes. And so, you know, we gotta pee on the course. We gotta be peeing, urinating regularly, you know. And so, and then ideally when it's clear, the kidneys is saying that, you know, it's good. So the kidney will not just clean everything in the past right away. It's gonna chip away at it, literally, hopefully chip away at these stones. But so you will, if you drink a lot of water, you're gonna get clear urine right away. But we need that sustained. That's the key. And so if that happens over a long enough period of time, then we can have some, and I don't know what that time is scientifically. And again, I suspect it varies per person, but then we can be comfortable that the backlog is fixed, you know, for the most part. And so, and that's the same with the stomach, you know. It's like with inflammation, you know, it's like this thing can come back, you know, this gastritis. And so, but the longer periods of time you go without it, you get a better sense that, you know, the stomach has recovered, you know, from that flare up. So that's my plan. I just wanted to share that. You know, I know this channel is golf, but this is related to it. And then hope everyone's doing well. Bye.